Okay, everyone, we're here and we're at a spot where we want to talk a little bit about science. We want to talk about Nixon's trips to Red China. We have old newspaper clippings, and I thought I would share a particular... He went to China quite a bit, and we weren't ahead of the game when it came to where we were with what communists absolutely represented. However, he did a great job in trying to create peace. And this is where we're going to do. We're going to read this article, The Unofficial Nixon's Peking Speech, dated February 21st, 1972. And here we go. I don't know how far I'll get, but we'll see. Following the unofficial text of President Nixon's speech and toast at tonight's banquet hosted by Premier Chow and Lao, Mr. Prime Minister and all of the distinguished guests this evening, on behalf of all your American guests, I wish to thank you for the incomparable hospitality for which the Chinese people are justly famous throughout the world. And that's very true, actually. And I particularly want to pay tribute not only to those who prepared the magnificent dinner, but also to those who have provided the splendid music. Never have I heard American music played better in a foreign land. That's very generous. Mr. Prime Minister, I wish to thank you for your very gracious and eloquent remarks. At this moment, though, the wonder of telecommunications, more people are seeing and hearing what we say than on any other such occasion in the whole history of the world. Yet what we say here will not be long remembered. But what we do can change the world. As you said in your toast, the Chinese people are a great people. The American people are a great people. If our two peoples are enemies, the future of this world we share together is dark indeed. But if we can find common ground to work together, the chance for world peace is immeasurably increased. And that's true. In the spirit of frankness, which I hope will characterize our talks this week, let us recognize at the outset these points. We have at times in the past been enemies. We have great differences today. What brings us together is that we have common interests which transcend those differences. As we discuss those differences, neither of us will compromise our principles. But while we cannot close the gulf between us, we can try to bridge it so that we may be able to talk across it. So let us, in these next 5 days, start a long march together, not to lockstep, but on different roads leading to the same goal, and the goal of building a world structure of peace and justice, in which all may stand together with equal dignity, in which each nation, large or small, has a right to determine its own form of government, free of the outside interference of domination. The world watches, the world listens, and the world waits to see what will we do. What is the world? In a personal sense, I think of my eldest daughter, whose birthday is today. And as I think of her, I think of all the children in the world, in Asia, in Africa, in Europe, and in America, and most of them whom were born since the date of the foundation of the People's Republic of China. What legacy shall we leave our children? Are they destined to die for the hatreds which have plagued the old world? Or are they destined to live because we have the vision of build a new world? There is no reason for us to be enemies. Neither of us seeks the territory of the other. Neither of us seeks domination over the other, and neither of us seeks to stretch our hand and rule the world. Chairman Mao has written, so many deeds cry out to be done, and always urgently. The world rolls on. Time passes, and 10,000 years are too long. Seize the day and seize the hour. This is the hour, this is the day for our two people to rise to the heights of greatness, which can build a new and better world. And in the spirit, I ask all of you present to join me in raising your glasses to Chairman Mao, to Prime Minister Chow, and to the friendship of the Chinese and American people, which can lead to friendship and peace for all people in the world. And that also includes Xi. Official text of Premier Xiao in Lao's remarks and toast proceedings Nixon's. Mr. President and Miss Nixon, ladies and gentlemen, comrades and friends, first of all, I have the pleasure on behalf of the chairman, Mao Zedong, and the Chinese government to extend our welcome to the Mr. President and Mr. Nixon and to our other American guests. I also wish to take this opportunity to extend on behalf of the Chinese people cordial greetings to the American people on the other side of the great ocean. President Nixon's visit to our country at the invitation of the Chinese government provides the leaders of the two countries with an opportunity of meeting in person to seek the normalization of relations between the two countries and also in exchange views on questions of concerns to the two sides. This is a positive move in conformity the desire of the Chinese and American peoples, and an event unprecedented in the history of the relations between China and the United States. The American people are a great people. The Chinese people are a great people. The peoples of our two countries have always been friendly to each other. But owing to reasons known to all, contracts between the two peoples were suspended over 20 years. Now, though, the common efforts of China and the United States, the gate to friendly contracts has finally been opened at the present time, and it has become a strong desire of the Chinese and American peoples to move to promote normalization of relations between the two countries and work for the relaxation of tensions. The people alone are the motive force in the making of the world history. We are confident that the day will surely come when the common desire of our two peoples will be realized. The social systems of China and the United States are fundamentally different, and there exist great differences between the Chinese government and the United States of America. However, these differences should not hinder China and the United States on establishing normal state relations on the behalf of the 5 principles of mutual respect for sovereignty and territorial integrity, mutual non-aggression, non-interference in each other's internal affairs, equality and mutual benefits, and peaceful coexistence. Still less should be led to war. As early as 1955, the Chinese government publicly stated that the Chinese people did not want to have a war with the United States, and that the Chinese government is willing to sit down and enter into negotiations with the United States government. This is a policy which we have pursued consistently. We have taken note of the fact that in his speech before setting out for China, President Nixon, on his part, said that what we must do is to find a way to see that we can have differences without being enemies in war. We hope that though a frank exchange of views between our sides to gain a clear notion of our differences and make efforts to find common grounds and new start can be made in the relations of our own two countries. In conclusion, I propose a toast to the health of President and Mrs. Nixon and Donald Trump and Melania Trump, to the health of our other American guests, to the health of all our friends and the comrades present, and to the friendship between the Chinese and the American peoples. And that was spoken in 1972. What concerns were occurring in 1972 to have Nixon take so many trips to China? This is a student from 1972 saved and made an A on this project. It's important to understand that what you do in school becomes future education for others. This is why school is important. This person made an A on this project.